bottom line is you entered a division openly that you said you wouldn't face one of the top guys. That's not a sign of courage. That's a sign of cowardice. I don't love the idea. You have an undefeated. Make sure you understand what happened. I know this is your friend, DC. I think of Islam as my friend too. You are so interested in getting away from this guy that you not only leave your belt, you leave your division, and the whole thing is only contingent that you don't have to fight Islam. Not for nothing. This is not the way champions conduct themselves.
Is there anywhere that says this guy's going to duck anybody? That's not who he is.
Those two words just don't go together, Islam and ducking. It doesn't add up in any sense of the word.
UFC legend Chael Sonnen is not happy with Islam Makhachev leaving the lightweight division without fighting Ilia Topuria. He said everyone wanted to see this fight, but Islam disappointed everyone by not making that fight happen. Chael Sonnen criticizes Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight, calling it a sign of cowardice. Sonnen didn't hold back, saying Islam didn't move up to 170 pounds to chase greatness or add to his legacy, but to avoid a fight with Belal Muhammad. He argued that when a champion enters a new division while openly refusing to face a top contender, it's not courage, it's avoidance. Chael Sonnen pointed out that while Ilia Topuria was chasing Islam Makhachev and ready to leave his division, but Islam avoided him.
Islam went up not out of courage. Islam did not go up out of adding hardware to put on his mantle. He went up with one condition, which is I don't have to fight Belal Muhammad. Now, he can sit around and say, I could beat Belal, and I wouldn't go up and beat Belal because I can beat Belal. The bottom line is you entered a division openly that you said you wouldn't face one of the top guys. That's not a sign of courage. That's a sign of cowardice. I don't love the idea. You have an undefeated. Make sure you understand what happened. I know this is your friend, DC. I think of Islam as my friend too. But let's think of what happened. You have an undefeated, #1 ranked world champion who's chasing you down. He is willing to leave his division behind. He's willing to walk away from his belt to chase you down. You are so interested in getting away from this guy that you not only leave your belt, you leave your division, and the whole thing is only contingent that you don't have to fight Islam. Not for nothing. This is not the way champions conduct themselves.
However, Matt Brown fires back at all such claims. He defends Islam Makhachev against accusations of ducking Ilia Topuria. Brown pushed back on the idea, saying it doesn't fit Makhachev's character at all. In his view, the words Islam and ducking simply don't belong in the same sentence. He acknowledged that there are cases where fighters avoid certain opponents, but emphasized that in this case, Islam is chasing a bigger opportunity, not avoiding a fight. Brown made it clear that moving up in weight for new challenges doesn't count as ducking in any meaningful way.
Where in our history of knowing Islam Makhachev is there anywhere that says this guy's going to duck anybody? That's not who he is.
Those two words just don't go together, Islam and ducking. It doesn't add up in any sense of the word. Like you said, there's certainly situations of guys quote unquote ducking, but you kind of have to define what ducking is too, right? Like, are they going out of their way specifically to not fight a guy? Islam's going for a bigger opportunity. Like I don't think that's ducking in any definition of the word that you can muster up. So
Matt Brown further shuts down ducking talk and blames overhype from fans. Brown pointed out that a lot of the accusations come from emotional or uninformed fans. He emphasized that there's always a business side to matchmaking, and fans often overlook that reality. According to Brown, Islam Makhachev is not the type to avoid anyone. He believes Islam would even fight at middleweight or light heavyweight if the opportunity made sense. For Brown, there's absolutely no sign of ducking in Makhachev's mindset.
There's also the business side. When people talk about this ducking stuff, there's the business aspect of it. That's just the redneck fans talking, or the Reddit fans too, right? The opposite of redneck fans. But the people like to say all kinds of things and make it more dramatic than it actually is. Like Islam, I don't see a single ounce of ducking in him anywhere. I think he would fight at 85, 205 if the opportunity was there.
Matt Brown defends Islam's choice, saying Jack Della Maddalena is no easier fight than Ilia Topuria. Brown argued that Jack might actually be more technical than Ilia Topuria when it comes to striking. While Ilia may have more raw power pound for pound, Brown believes Jack's technical precision makes him just as dangerous, if not more. He pushed back on the idea that Islam is taking an easier route by moving up, saying it's strange to claim he's ducking a smaller opponent in Ilia to instead fight a bigger, highly skilled striker like Jack.
As a matter of fact, I would say Jack is probably even more technical than Ilia on the feet. You know, Ilia pound for pound, I would argue probably has more power, but I would say Jack probably has more technique. So it's not a safer fight in any way at all. It's a very odd thing to say that he's ducking a smaller boxer to fight a bigger boxer.
Mateusz Gamrot also said he wasn't surprised that Islam Makhachev moved up instead of fighting Ilia Topuria next month. He explained that Islam has been in the lightweight division for a long time and always cuts a lot of weight, which has taken a toll on him. Gamrot recalled seeing Islam look drained during fight weeks when they shared the same card, noting that even though Islam performed well, the weight cut clearly affected him. He believes moving up is a smart decision and will help Islam feel fresher and perform better. Gamrot added that like Ilia moving up to try something new, Islam is also looking for a fresh challenge and is not avoiding Topuria.
Didn't fight Ilia next month.
No, I am not surprised. Like Islam fought a long time in the lightweight division, and he cut a lot of weight to lightweight division. 2-3 times we fight the same card, so I saw him full of fight week, how he looks. I think looks bad, you know, because too much cut weight. Of course, his performance cage was good, but full fight week he tried cut weight. So I think when he move up right now, this is gonna be better for his performance, and I think this is good idea for him. He need to something fresh, like Ilia go to up division because he need to something fresh. So I don't think that Islam running away from him, you know.
Moreover, talking about Ilia's move, Gamrot isn't sure Ilia Topuria made a mistake by moving up to lightweight, but he does question the size difference. Gamrot said it's understandable that Ilia wants to chase new challenges, but pointed out that Ilia is a smaller fighter physically. He believes when two fighters are equally skilled, the size difference can make a big impact. Gamrot suggested that against naturally bigger lightweights like Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira, Ilia might struggle due to his physicality and strength disadvantage.
By going up to 155, do you think he should have stayed at 45?
Maybe no mistake because he try find something new, but he's small, you know. Like I think if like the both guys is same level, so the gabarit, the body is big, is different to get the win. So it depends who will fight with him, like the big guy like Islam or Oliveira. This can be problem.
UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier shared his thoughts on the Islam versus JDM fight, saying this is going to be a very compelling matchup. He was impressed by how well-rounded and skilled Jack looked in his win over Belal Muhammad. He pointed out that Islam will benefit from not having to cut as much weight at 170, which should make him fresher. Cormier believes the key will be whether Jack can defend Islam's takedowns, and if he can, the fight becomes much more competitive.
I think Islam and Jack Della Maddalena is a great fight. Della Maddalena surprised me in this fight with Belal Muhammad. Like, he just showed that he's much better than people gave him credit for. So well-rounded, so skilled. Makhachev, though, bigger, will have an ability to not be cutting all the weight. He'll be more full. He'll be more, like, fresh. I'm interested. I think that it'll come down to the wrestling of Islam versus Jack's takedown defense and how stingy is he going to be able to be with Islam? Because when Islam can take guys down early, they really struggle. The only time a fight even looks competitive is when they can defend takedowns and he spends large amounts of time on his feet, which he does really well too.
Daniel Cormier advises Islam Makhachev to sharpen his wrestling ahead of a potential clash with Jack Della Maddalena. Cormier highlighted that Jack's recent takedown defense was impressive and noted that Islam had some difficulty taking down Dustin Poirier. Because of that, DC believes Makhachev needs to really focus on tightening up his wrestling game if he wants to control the fight against a well-rounded and defensively sound opponent like JDM.
Islam Jack is going to be a great fight, especially seeing Jack defend takedowns in the way that he did. And Islam, he struggled a little to take down Dustin Poirier. He didn't take him down as easily as he had taken down other guys. So I think that for Makhachev, he needs to really lock in on getting that wrestling ready to fight a guy in Jack Della Maddalena who showed great takedown defense. And man, this dude's got some good boxing, especially when you're in tight with him. His hands are good in close.
On the other hand, Ilia Topuria says Islam Makhachev is mentally broken before moving to welterweight. Ilia Topuria thinks Islam Makhachev is not in the right mindset as he leaves the lightweight division. He believes Makhachev made the move because he's afraid, not because he wants a new challenge. Topuria said that deep down, Islam knows he left the division out of fear. He compared it to himself, saying if he had left featherweight while someone like Max Holloway was still at the top, people would say he was running away. According to Topuria, leaving a division while there's still a top contender chasing you doesn't look good for a champion.
Para terminar, Ilia, me gustaría que me dieras una predicción de Islam Makhachev contra Jack Della Maddalena.
Yo creo que Islam ahora mismo, es que no lo sé, ahora está en un momento que mentalmente yo creo que está roto. Porque no creo que te venga de forma positiva el hecho de que sabes en tu interior que has abandonado una división por miedo. Porque no hay ninguna otra explicación. Tú imagínate que yo hubiera abandonado peso pluma teniendo a un Max Holloway todavía que vencer en el peso, o a un contendiente que realmente se mereciera que estuviera barriendo a toda la división y que todo el mundo estuviera chillando su nombre. Pues, ¿qué te diría eso de mí? Bueno, pues no sé cómo le va a afectar a nivel mental eso en peso welter, pero no lo sé, la verdad. Ya con su vida lo que quiera.
Gracias.
Renato Moicano believes the odds even for Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena are fair. Moicano explained that while Islam is a strong grappler and a big lightweight, he's stepping into a new challenge by moving up to welterweight. He pointed out that Islam may need time to properly adjust to the new weight class, building strength, size, and power to match natural welterweights like JDM. Because of that uncertainty, Moicano isn't surprised that Islam isn't the favorite and thinks the betting odds being even are completely justified.
So Islam versus JDM, the odds are even. How do you see that going?
I think they probably should be even, you know, because even though Islam is a good grappler and he's big for 155, he's moving to 170. We never know, you know. I think he needs to take some time to work to gain weight, to gain power, you know, to gain strength. So that's why the odds are even, and I think they should be even.
Paddy Pimblett questions the UFC's decision to make Islam Makhachev vacate his lightweight title. Pimblett voiced confusion over the UFC's handling of Makhachev's situation, pointing out that if Islam has to vacate after multiple defenses and short notice fights, then John Jones, who's been out longer, should be stripped too. He argued that Makhachev has earned the right to chase double champ status instead of being forced to give up his belt.
I didn't think they'd make Islam vacate, but if you're making Islam vacate, Jones needs to be stripped. You know what I mean? If you're making Islam vacate after 4 defenses, fighting people on short notice, you should let him try and be double champ.
Earlier, Stephen Thompson also thought Islam Makhachev should be allowed to keep his lightweight title even if he moves up to welterweight. He mentioned that the UFC has had double champs before, like Daniel Cormier, Conor McGregor, and Henry Cejudo, so there's no reason Islam shouldn't have the same chance. Thompson also said Makhachev has already accomplished a lot at 155 pounds, and even if he wins at welterweight, lightweight will likely still be his true division.
Do you think Islam should be able to retain his lightweight belt? Let's say it's Ilia and Charles. Should that be for the interim belt in your opinion? Should the UFC let Islam hang on to his belt after everything he's accomplished?
I think so. I mean, why not? I mean, we've had double champs before, and it's been a while since we had, double champs. When was the last double champ, if you mind me asking?
It's a good question, man. Well, we had DC, right? He was a double champ.
I know Conor McGregor was the double champ, obviously.
Yeah, Henry Cejudo.
Henry Cejudo. But it's been a while since we've had a double champ. So, what Islam has done in the 155 division, I don't see why not. Let him hang on to it. If he goes up and beats Bilal, awesome. We'll see if he stays in the welterweight division. But I think his true division is going to be the 155.
Gilbert Burns also shared his thoughts on the confusion around Islam Makhachev vacating the lightweight title. He noted that Islam first said he wouldn't give up the belt, but later did, which might have been part of ongoing negotiations. Despite the mixed messages, Burns supports Islam's decision. He said Makhachev has already proven himself, is the current #1 pound-for-pound fighter, and deserves this chance. Burns also believes the fight with Jack Della Maddalena will be more competitive than many people think.
He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know. I think he was a little okay. If you're going up, we gotta. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. And I like him moving up. Proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think.
Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, expressed full confidence in Islam's ability to beat Jack Della Maddalena. He said Islam wants the fight and is capable of doing it all, whether it's taking Jack down or out striking him. Mendez pointed out that Islam will do what Bilal Muhammad failed to do, and that he always follows the game plan. He also noted that Islam won't be undersized at welterweight and will be a strong contender in the division. According to Mendez, Jack has never faced someone like Islam, and if the fight happens, fans can expect an incredible battle.
I just know Islam wants this one, and he can do it all. Can he take Jack down? Absolutely, he can take him down. Can he outstrike Jack? Absolutely, he can outstrike him. Maybe a better deal to do what Bilal should have done and what he didn't do, and that's something I know that Islam will do because he's never not listened to us. And also, the weight, Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight. Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight.
Former English MMA fighter Dan Hardy calls Makhachev versus JDM one of the best super fights right now. Dan Hardy shared his excitement about Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight to face Jack Della Maddalena. He said it's one of the best possible super fights at the moment, only behind John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Hardy pointed out that Makhachev doesn't want to give up his lightweight title, even while moving up. However, he questioned if the UFC would allow that, since the promotion seems to be stepping away from the idea of having double champions.
I thought he was very, very impressive. You know, it would be awesome to see Makhachev move up and fight him. You know, I did see that Makhachev said he's not gonna relinquish his lightweight belt. So I don't know how that's gonna fly with the UFC, because I think they're putting a stop on double champs now, aren't they? But it would be a fight I would love to see. You know, that's probably one of the best super fights you could make right now, aside from, you know, obviously John Jones against Tom Aspinall, which is the blockbuster.
Dan Hardy doubts Islam Makhachev can beat JDM at welterweight and said he's not sure how long Jack Della Maddalena will keep the welterweight belt, but he doesn't think Islam Makhachev will be the one to take it from him. He praised Makhachev's dominance at lightweight, saying he could beat anyone in that division, even Ilia Topuria, but Hardy isn't convinced that Makhachev will have the same success after moving up to welterweight.
I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or, you know, he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev, though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, you know, on any day, you know, including Ilia Topuria. I don't think if he moved up, he would have much success against Makhachev.
Dan Hardy believes that if Islam Makhachev captures the welterweight belt, it would lock in his legacy as one of the greatest ever. He already considers Islam the pound-for-pound best right now and says the welterweight division is wide open, making this the perfect time for Makhachev to move up and make history.
If Islam goes up to welterweight and wins that second belt, what do you think that does for him in terms of his legacy? Surely that just puts him on the Mount Rushmore, right, of MMA?
I mean, it does for me. He's pound for pound best right now, anyway, in my mind. It would be very, very impressive. You know, he is the kind of fighter that can definitely make that transition. And honestly, I do feel like the welterweight division is open right now for someone to come in and you know, cause an upset. There's been times in the past where it would have been harder for someone to come up from another weight class and do that, but now seems like it's primed. It's a little bit unsettled. The belt's kind of moving around a bit.
So Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight has sparked debate across the MMA world, as some see it as a bold step toward greatness, others as a missed opportunity to silence critics. Whether it's ducking or daring, only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, Islam versus JDM would be an interesting matchup as well. So make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates about this fight.